Hello and welcome to the Simple Ground Homestead. In this video, I'm going to talk about picking up hay and stacking it, the final steps in the haymaking process. The hay's been cut now for a couple of days, and I've used a rake to turn it all. I've made videos about those two, and I'll leave the links to those in the description below. Come on out to the field with me and we'll take a look at how it's done. You know, it's very important to make sure your hay is good and dry. If it's too wet or moist in the stack, it'll rot and mold. It could also get so hot that it would start a fire. You can test the hay by bending it in your hands. You can tell very clearly dry hay from not dry hay. I looked around a little and I found this hay. It's starting to dry, but it's not completely dry. This would not be considered dry enough. Here's the dry next to the not dry. Before picking up the hay, I take two rows and I rake them together. I found that it's a lot faster to rake rows together than it is to pick up separate rows. You can see here there's not a lot that looks like is going on. Just keep in mind that if your hay is dry enough and you have alfalfa hay, you could be losing leaves the more you rake it. When you start picking up the hay, there's various techniques. The one I use is lifting it and then setting it on the hay in front. You can see that seems pretty simple, and you can actually get quite a good load each trip if you do it that way. Just pick it up and set it down on the stuff in front of it. We'll speed things up now and take a look at filling the back of the truck. Here that I'm filling around the edges first and leaving the middle till last. That allows the stack to slope inward. This makes a tighter stack and keeps it from falling out when I drive away. Also, I'll step on it and squish it all down. I step on it a few times and you can make a pretty big stack in the back of your truck. So here we're looking at some of the leftovers after I've picked up the hay with the pitchfork. It doesn't look like much, but I took out the rake and I raked it into piles. It actually makes up a lot of hay in the end. It might be worth your time to take your rake out there and rake up that little extra into piles. Feed your cows for a couple more days. Now we're going to look at me stacking the stack. You can see that I already have a base of a few loads, but I figured at this level it's a little easier to see what I'm doing. Like in the back of the truck, I'm going around the edges first and I'm making the edges tall. If you stay as close as you can to the lower side, you can make a pretty vertical stack. It takes a little bit of thought, so you can see me sticking the pitchfork loads out there and wiggling them around. This is a very important part. And you can only stack it this tight if your hay is completely dry. There's other stacking methods to stack wet hay. I don't show that in this video. This is the method to stack completely dry hay. You can also see by my mess that this is under a shed, so I'm not worried at all about rain here. This method, if you stack it tight enough, will shed some water. But if you live in a very wet climate, it's a better idea to cover this type of stack. After you've made the edges tall, then you can stack a little in the middle. You can see that my edges are getting taller and taller. To finish that off, I'll stack some right in the middle. Well, thanks again for watching my video. As we watch me stack the rest of this hay, I'd like to thank you for all your support so far. It's been great having such a supportive audience so early on in the process. We want to hear from you. Tell us what you would like to see next, and we'll do our best to show you. I'm going to be placing links on the screen and also in the description below to my other haymaking videos so you can see those. Give this one a thumbs up if it was any help to you. To see the videos that are coming down the road, subscribe to our channel. It'll give you updates of what we're doing next. Visit our website, simpleground.com, to see more information about modern homesteading and see what we're doing here on our little modern homestead. Thanks again so much for watching. If you watched to the end of the video, kudos. Write in the comments that you made it.